Okay, what I have here is a very large box that was shipped to me just a couple of days ago. It says it weighs 92 kilograms gross weight, which I think is about 200 pounds. And it's big. It has in it an electric scooter that I'm going to go assemble. I'm looking forward to it, so stay tuned. Okay, so once you get the box open, you can see the, I think this is a tool bag here. It has all the tools you need to assemble it. There is the phone holder, I think. And there are some wrenches and some Allen keys, two different sizes. This is the model M1. There are also two other boxes in here. One of them appears to be mirrors. Oh yeah, your rear view mirrors. Two of those. There we are. And another box. Maybe this is the battery charger. Yes, looks like this is the battery charger with a US plug, which is great. And there are some extra fuses in there. There's a couple of extra fuses. Pull off some of this plastic. Looks like that's the handlebar. The two ends of the handlebar there. There's the back of it. Looks like it's kind of a gray silver color, which is cool. Be careful to pull this out and not yank the lights or anything out while I'm doing it. And I feel like it's probably too heavy to actually lift out, so I'm just going to take the box cutter and cut the box. I'm committed to it. Be careful not to cut anything on the scooter itself. And there's the actual scooter. It's pretty long. It's already got the back wheel on it. And so I think I need to put the front wheel on it. I found the keys. Looks like they give you 2 keys and 2 fobs to go with it. They do give you these nice little hooks to go onto the actual keys to connect the fobs. So now I've got 2 sets of keys with each has its own fob. Okay, I just found the front fender right here. The product manual doesn't really give you any information about assembly. Tells you safety features, how to charge the battery, how to drive it, how to store it. Suggest charging the battery 60 to 80% for storage over 3 months. But no actual assembly instructions in here. Probably one of the first things you want to do after you get it unwrapped is go ahead and put on the steering or handlebars. And the reason is they're just kind of in the way otherwise. They're hanging down like that. And I could see why for shipping they needed them to be not sticking up like they would be when it's finished. There are 4 bolts, 2 on the left side and 2 on the right, that look like they hold the handlebars in place. So yeah, that one's off, and this one you turn a few more times. There we go. Alright, so that's off. Set that down right here. Take off the other one. Once you get them to a certain point, you can hand loosen them. Might be a little quicker that way. And I'm going to go ahead now and pick up the handlebar. And there's some cables. I assume these are sort of the brake lines that need to be sort of moved around a little bit so that they drop into the right spot. And then put this back on. There are also some there's some little tiny markings on the inside of the handlebar. I don't know if you can see those or not. They're just little markings, and I assume those are what go in this slot right here. They're kind of indicating where the covers go. Put these two, I'll go ahead and put these two pieces back on. I'll start by hand tightening them a little bit just to get them started. You'll definitely want to make sure these are not over tightened, but tight enough to keep the handlebars in place. Once I've kind of got them started, now I'm going to make sure that the markings are lined up underneath the piece that's holding, lined up where it should be left to right. Obviously, you kind of want it centered. You don't want to tighten one of them all the way down and not have the other one down at all, because it kind of puts strain on it, so you can't tighten the second one. So get the first one, you know, most of the way down, and then get the second one most of the way down, then go back and do the first one again. As I said, don't over tighten them, but get them tight enough so that it doesn't move. It's not, you know, I can kind of pull on it and it's not going to move back and forth. It feels pretty good right there. I don't know about the angle of it yet, but I'll adjust that after I've ridden it a bit. You can see that the handlebar is on and out of the way. Now I'm going to kind of dive into the wheel here and see what is required for that. I think in order to do that, it might be good if I boosted up the back end, like put it on something to hold it up while I'm working on it, so that it's not sitting on the ground like this. So as I mentioned, it is pretty heavy, so I've got this block of wood. I'm going to lift it up and see if I can place this block of wood under it. Again, this is where having a helper would be handy. But let me see if I can lift it and slide this under. Yeah, there we go. So now it is sitting up on that block of wood, and I can work on the front wheel. Okay, careful not to bump it too hard and knock it off. So I've got the fork, the front fork up. And here you can check out the headlight, check out the blinker lights, the gauges, the brakes. Go ahead and pull the plastic off the headlight here. Alright, let's see what we do with this wheel here. Alright, so got the wheel here. It is tubeless, very bouncy. Feels very solid. Has a standard standard air nozzle there. I think that's called a Schrader. air nozzle, at least in the bicycle world called Schrader. Get all this out of the way. Go ahead and pull off the rest of the plastic here on the fork. It's got pretty heavy duty shocks in the front, as you can see. And then it looks like this is going to pull out. And then it looks like you want to make sure that your disc brake, which is right here, goes into the disc brake calipers, I guess. I think that's what you call them, like on a bicycle with disc brakes. Lift this up so the disc goes into the brake slot. Now actually, one thing you might have to do first is disengage the brake by cutting those cable ties so that your brake's not closed. So let me cut those real quick and see if that disengages the brake. Alright, so snip and snip. Wow, those were on there tight. So now that should have opened up the spot so this disc can slide in to the disc brake space. Okay, very important note. There is a little piece of plastic in the brake caliper here that you have to pull out in order to get the tire to go in. That's why I couldn't get it to go in. So plastic just pulls right out of that gap right there, where right there where the disc is going to go in. So it should go in now. I'm wondering if I need to get a screwdriver so I can spread the brake pads apart a little bit so I can get the disc in there. Okay, so I've got a pretty big flathead screwdriver here, and I'm just trying to see if I can put it in to separate the brake pads a little bit. Yeah, and it seems to be working. I'm going to be gentle with it, you know, not cause any damage. Okay, I've got them spread apart a lot more. Now let's see, there we go. Now it's in. And now let's see if I can line up the, there we go. Okay. Okay, one important thing that I didn't show you before, but I need to show you, is there are two little metal pieces like this that need to go back on the wheel, and you actually put the this bolt through those, so they go on that side and on that side like that, so that it basically stays centered and doesn't flop around, doesn't move back and forth. So it makes putting it on a little bit more challenging. I put it on the wrong way the first time, and I'm about to correct that. So I'm going to lift this back up. Yep, that one fell out. So again, if you have an assistant, that could really help. Okay, one more try. The trick is to get it in there, get this through there quickly, before the other one falls off. Okay, there it is. Okay, let's try it one more time. So both of those are in. Okay, now got it on with both of the metal pieces in the right spot. That's much better. Okay, good. One thing that really helps in this whole process is a knee pad if you're down on your knees in the garage. Okay, now for a fun part, I'm going to put the fender on and
Looks like you pull these little screws out on both sides. This might be where you can actually use the smaller Allen wrench. Yep. Okay.
Put this on. Maybe I did want to do this first because it fits either way. I don't think it matters if you do it before or after the tire. So all 6 of the parts that hold the fender on look the same.
Okay. Finish putting the fender on. And again, I wouldn't tighten these all the way down until you have them all at least started, so that you can still move it a little bit if you need to. Feels right. This is the tricky one. Okay, I think I got it finally. Okay.
Okay, I've got the front fender on and the front wheel on. And now we need to put on the mirrors and a few other small things. Okay, so I did want to also mention that the key opens this box right here as well. And it's not really a box, it's a cover, and that's where the battery is. That's the battery right in there. Now you can pull the battery out and charge it, or you can actually charge it using this port right here, which has a rubber thing over it to keep it from getting any moisture in it. So that's how I was charging it. I haven't actually charged it all the way yet. I charged it for about 2 hours. It wasn't full, but it was plenty for me to ride on for about 20 minutes just now. So that's where the battery lives. And I would imagine you can probably buy a spare battery if you were so inclined. Okay. Got the thing put together. I'm on it. Got the GoPro mounted to it. Gonna take it for a little spin. So for the assembly, there were really a few challenging parts to it. One was just dealing with the size of it. I really suggest that you have somebody there to help you if you're gonna try and assemble it yourself. Number 2 was the wheel, getting the wheel lined up properly into the getting the wheel lined up properly so that it would work with the brakes, and then just getting all the little nuts and bolts in the right spot. Really wasn't that hard. I'd say it took me a little over an hour, and it probably should have taken me about 45 minutes, but that's partly because I was trying to film while I was doing it, and partly because I was not trying to go fast, but I think you could get it done in about 45 minutes. So I just assembled this a little while ago, and it was a pretty simple process. As I said, the hardest thing was getting it kind of out of the box by myself. You'll definitely want something to prop it up on because the front wheel's not attached when you start, but if you have a box, like a solid wood box, something that can hold a lot of weight, that's good. And then you put the handlebars on, and I still am getting a little bit of movement in the handlebars, so I want to make sure to get those nice and tight so they don't move up and down. So you get those put on, that's pretty quick and easy. The mirrors are quick and easy. And then the front wheel is the only other thing that's kind of challenging. You want to make sure that you get this disc here into the brake pad. So it's got to slide into that slot up there where the brakes are. And you can't do that until you actually cut the cut the zip ties they had on these because the brakes were compressed when we started. And keep in mind, there is a little tab you have to pull out of the brake pad in order to make it fit in there. And then the last thing that I think is really important that I almost made a mistake on is these two little metal bits. There's one right there and there's one right there. And those need to be inserted over the bolt that holds the front wheel in place. So just making sure you do all those things, and pretty easy, take less than an hour to put together, and so far it's been a lot of fun to ride. So that's my assembly video on how you put this thing together. When it comes to you, you're going to want to make sure to go slow. Don't try to force anything, don't strip any of the screws, and follow my instructions in the video and you should be fine. I'll be, of course, doing a lot of riding videos of this thing coming up in the next few weeks. Very excited to have it. It's a cool thing. I've been stopped by multiple people who have looked at it and said, wow, that is really cool. And it's only the first day, so I'm excited to do more with it. If you have comments, I'd love to hear what you think about it. Comment below, and we'll see you next time on Ready, Set, Drone. There's a guy, did you see the guy in the truck? Yeah, he honked at me and then he pulled over and said, "That's awesome! Where'd you get it?" Oh, did you hear all that? Yeah. Oh. Yeah.